Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
It's a new way to plan your day. Get the weather information you need from Marshall Cease and Heather Tesh, including your local forecast on the 8th. Tune into Your Weather Today, weekday mornings from 7 till 9 Eastern on the Weather Channel.
Washington, D.C. almost looks like a ghost town. It's hit by a blizzard, bringing activity to a crawl. People are asked to stay off the streets so crews can tackle the snow. Now, you in New York find the going slow. Snow and slush making many areas hazardous. Now, the best thing to do is just stay home.
That's right. Definitely some good advice, Bob. Here in New York City, we've had a lot of accidents. Fortunately, the heaviest of the snow, though, now passing to our north. I'm Kristen Dodd. I'll have a live report on what we can expect.
Good morning. Welcome to Weather Center. I'm Bob Stokes.
And good morning, I'm Vivian Brown. The snowstorm is triggering emergencies along the East Coast. A snow emergency will go into effect at noon for Philadelphia. As of noon, only emergency vehicles are permitted on the city's snow routes. No parking will be allowed. You could be ticketed or fined. A similar emergency was declared in the Washington, D.C. area earlier today. Here is a look at our storm history, and this has been quite a storm as we've had locally heavy snow. Raleigh-Durham, the latest observations coming in at 18.2 inches of snow already, and a narrow swath of anywhere from 6 to 8 inches have fallen from northern Virginia right on up to the southern New Jersey coastline, including Atlantic City and Philadelphia has picked up some 7 inches of snow. This is from the same system that brought the burst of snow, remember, yesterday in the Atlanta metro area, and over the weekend, of course, we had that widespread ice storm develop. So this low pressure is definitely causing some problems. We've had widespread snow from the southern coast of Maine all the way into eastern North Carolina. Here is our latest winter weather radar, which shows the bands of heavier snow. Now, we have had it change over to rain in the Boston area as some of that warmer air is coming in from the Atlantic and the Cape Cod vicinity. Even New York City, we've had some of the precipitation falling in the form of a mixture of rain and snow, and even some freezing rain. Now, the forecast calls for an additional 3 to 6 inches for areas mainly west of the Boston vicinity. Boston, we think that the heaviest snow will certainly be to your west. And again, you can see right down from the Capital District of Albany in New York into eastern Pennsylvania. So the snow, again, widespread with the storm system looming off the coast now of Virginia as we speak. Now, we have crews stationed along the northeast coast, and we have our very own Kristen Dodd. She's standing in the Big Apple this morning, and she joins us now with the latest. Hello, Kristen.
Hi, Vivian. And we have seen a lot of change across New York City just within the past 8 to 12 hours. When we flew in and landed at midnight last night, we didn't have any of this mess. But about 5 o'clock, that all changed as heavy snow set in. We picked up about 5 inches in and around the Long Island area. Fortunately now, the snow has tapered off to a few flurries now and then, and also some ice pellets, but nothing significant, at least at this point. But the snow that fell has shut down that, and that is LaGuardia Airport. They are plowing the parking lots, trying to get the runways and the parking lots open, but right now no flights are leaving. Let's show you how some other conditions are for the major hubs here, as we do have, again, LaGuardia, at least at this point, closed. We do have reports that possibly it may reopen at noon. They had hoped to open at 11, but that has not happened. We also have very long delays at Newark and JFK, so flying in and out of the Big Apple today is a headache. Now behind me here we have our parking lot, and you can see how the plows have been out here, but with the freezing rain falling, that has caused some headaches because now we have a sheet of ice that is just forming. The winds have also picked up. You can see the trees here. The wind's now about 20 miles an hour, and with our air temperature at about 27 degrees, the wind chill right now is at about 0. So the very cold wind coming in off the ocean just kind of cutting through you. So folks here in the New York City area definitely have to dress very warmly if they're trying to make it into work today. Now let's go to Colin Marquis. He's our winter weather analyst, and he has more.
Thanks, Kristen. We have been tracking this system since last night. Tremendous snowfall already occurred in parts of the Carolinas. This just in as of 11 o'clock, 18.2 inches in Raleigh. That is the greatest single snowstorm on record, beating out the previous one of 17.9 back in 1902. The surface low right abeam of about the Chesapeake Bay. Again, surface pressures falling most rapidly across southern New England. That is an indication that that low will track in that direction. So we are expecting the low to head up toward Boston, Massachusetts, and for the meantime, we still have a pretty good moisture feed in through here, but eventually we will get the dry air that comes up over eastern New England in time. Let's take a radar tour. First stop into the Boston area. Notice that we still do have quite a bit of precipitation coming up from south to north. The rain-snow line is about in through here, so south of Boston all rain, but from the Boston area and points north and west, it's still snowing quite hard, and I think that will continue for the next few hours. And in time, however, I do think that the rain-snow line will eventually drift on off to the northwest, so eventually this afternoon we will see a change to sleet, potentially freezing rain as well, before the precipitation starts to taper off somewhat across the eastern parts of Massachusetts. Now, I don't have the radar further down the coast in Washington, D.C. Actually, I think I do. This is way far down across Raleigh and part down toward Wilmington as well. Some of the worst conditions continue to be along the I-95 corridor from eastern North Carolina and points northward up toward Washington and Baltimore. Across eastern North Carolina, we will see the snow begin to taper off over the next several hours. So through the first part of the afternoon in eastern North Carolina, we will see improvements, but several more inches can fall before that occurs. And then farther north up toward Washington and Baltimore, we're going to continue to see snowfall at a pretty good clip, at times moderate to heavily, right on through the afternoon, and that through the next 6 hours we'll probably see some of the most treacherous conditions as far as snowfall. Let's get you back to the studio now, and Vivian.
Well, thanks very much, Colin. Of course, a crucial another 12 hours or so as we will continue to see the snow falling at a pretty good clip and deteriorating conditions for many areas over the northeast. Improving, though, over the southeast. As our winter weather analyst explained, we are watching improving conditions in South Carolina after Charleston picked up some 3 inches. And, of course, yesterday we had a light bursting of snow in the northern Georgia region, including Atlanta. You have certainly improved as far as precipitation goes, Atlanta. It's still cold, though. Only 28 degrees, 28 in Birmingham, 23 in Nashville, 37 in Little Rock. Actually, we'll find quite a bit of sunshine for most of the southeast. Dallas, 49, partly sunny, 60 in Houston with partly sunny conditions. New Orleans, you should get up to 54. That's a look at the weather along the East Coast. What about the upper Midwest and the West Coast? Let's go back to Bob.
Well, looking at the rest of the country, the Midwest is cold, and the West, well, it's stormy. Let's check out both regions, beginning with the Midwest right now. And we have lake effect snows coming down because of a long northerly fetch. Strong northerly winds coming in from the Arctic, and that's producing 3 to 6 inch snow amounts, at least in the forecast, for the north central part of Indiana. So please beware. It's snowing in Detroit. It's snowing on the lee side of Lake Superior, and it's snowing as far south as Kentucky. Again, some of the heavier amounts will be in western Michigan, western lower Michigan, the UP of Michigan, and the north central part of Indiana. Let's focus on Detroit and move westward. We've got some light snow coming down in Detroit right now at the Wayne Airport, and also some snows piling up just to the west of South Bend because of that long fetch. That northerly wind is transporting moisture all the way from the northern part of Lake Michigan southward to the very tip, southern tip. Snows in Fort Wayne right now in Muncie, Indiana. Be careful, and you can see those snows moving toward the east. Most of the snow on the light side in Indiana. As we check out your forecast, here it is, some 6 inches, perhaps up to 12 in these areas of Lavender in the northwestern part of lower Michigan. So you have to exercise caution today, whereas across most of Indiana and Ohio, 1 to 3 inch snows, with the exception of north central Indiana, where you could see 3 to 6 inches. So there's the frontal boundary, there's the cold Arctic air to the north of the front, and there's that low helping to pull in that cold air. So it's coat time, it's muffins time, it's hat time. Remember, your head is where you lose most of your heat from your body, so that's why hats are important. Whereas we have 18 in Minneapolis, 16 in Green Bay, and 15 in Chicago, as perhaps you walk down the Magnificent Mile to do some shopping. So there you have the Midwest. Lake effect snows, Arctic air. Out in the west, it's stormy. Rain coming down in the LA Basin. Could see an inch in parts of the LA Basin as we go forward. You can see that flow. We've got a low headed for the central California coast. Significant snows in the Wasatch. Rain along the 5 from Seattle down to Portland. And there's that flow getting in around Orange County, Riverside, California. It's a mess around I-10 and I-5 as we see that rain moving into the desert areas. And it's all because of this low helping to pull in that Pacific moisture, and that low will continue to move toward the east as we go forward in time. It's this low right here, and also some snows in the Wasatch Range. We've got it coming down right now in the greater Salt Lake City area. So please exercise caution around Logan and Provo, and again, if you're headed toward the higher elevations. So there you have the Midwest and the West, and there's a look at, of course, that wintry storm in the east. Your forecast going through this evening, we could see some ice mixed in with the snow across New England, and some of that milder Atlantic Ocean air intermingles with that storm. And as we go into that all-important morning commute, look at New Hampshire and Vermont. It looks like it's going to be snowy with that cold air still in place. And Vivian, we're talking about a foot of snow in some places in the Northeast.
Okay, a winter storm warning has been issued for New York City. Let's take a look at some of the delays at the airports from Boston all the way to Washington, D.C. We'll have a detailed look at the traveling conditions coming up for you next on TravelWise.